8 straight wins, a hostile road arena, and the absolute destruction of a generational offense. This is how history is written. What happens when an unstoppable force meets a completely unmovable defense? On July 15, 2026, the WNBA got its definitive answer at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The red-hot Golden State Valkyries, a franchise in just its second year of existence, walked directly into the heart of Indiana, completely shut down the most talked-about backcourt in basketball, and secured a historic, franchise-record 8th consecutive victory. For 25 minutes of pure, unadulterated basketball war, it looked like anyone's game. But this wasn't just another regular season matchup. This was a statement, a blueprint on how to dismantle a powerhouse. If you want to understand how a second-year expansion team became the terrifying juggernaut of the league, you have to look at the tactical masterclass that unfolded in Indianapolis. Let's break down the tape. To understand the sheer magnitude of this triumph, you have to look at what both teams were carrying into this arena. The Golden State Valkyries arrived in town riding a massive wave of momentum. At 17-7, they weren't just winning. They were dominating teams with a terrifying blend of athletic versatility and elite defensive discipline. Head coach Natalie Nakase had built an elite, multi-layered defensive system that specialized in taking away an opponent's favorite weapon. On the other side stood the Indiana Fever. Boasting a formidable 14-9 record, the Fever were dangerous, volatile, and playing in front of a packed, screaming hometown crowd. They possessed the definitive offensive catalyst of modern basketball, Kaitlyn Clark. Alongside her, Kelsey Mitchell was putting together a historic individual season, looking to extend her own franchise record of consecutive 20-point scoring performances. The narrative was set: Indiana's explosive space and pace offense against Golden State's physical, switching, suffocating shell. If Indiana expected to ease into this game, Golden State shattered that illusion in the first 60 seconds. The Valkyries opened the game with an absolute defensive blitzkrieg. Right out of the gate, they executed a blistering 8-0 run. Gabby Williams was everywhere, playing passing lanes and sticking to her matchups like glue. Veronica Burton set the tone early with intense on-ball pressure, refusing to let Indiana establish any clean rhythm in their half-court sets. But you don't build a winning record in this league by rolling over. The Fever weathered the initial storm. Led by Mitchell's relentless motor, Indiana chipped away at the lead. Mitchell accounted for 9 quick points in the opening frame, exploiting the tiniest gaps in the Valkyries' transition coverage. By the time the buzzer sounded to end the first quarter, an 8-0 deficit had been erased, and the Fever trailed by just 2 points, 20-18. We had a heavyweight fight on our hands. Great coaching isn't about the plays you draw up before the game. It's about how fast you adapt when those plays fail. In the second quarter, both teams dug their heels in defensively. Coach Nakase adjusted Golden State's defensive shell, instructing her perimeter defenders to play over screens and force Indiana's ball handlers down toward the baseline where Kia Stokes was waiting. Stokes was a massive deterrent in the interior, altering shots and pulling down 7 crucial defensive rebounds over the course of the night. Indiana countered with their size, utilizing Aaliyah Boston in the low post. Boston was an absolute problem down low, finishing with 15 points and 7 rebounds on the night. The game devolved into a gritty, half-court, half-space grind. Every single point felt earned. Neither team could break away, but Golden State was subtly dictating the tempo, slowly draining the energy out of Indiana's transition game. The Valkyries managed to hold onto a slim lead as the teams headed to the locker rooms. Every legendary victory requires an unexpected hero to step out of the shadows and seize control of the game. Enter Kaitlyn Chen. If you looked at the box score at halftime, you wouldn't have predicted what was about to happen. But the second half belonged entirely to Golden State's dynamic guard. Chen didn't just participate in the offense, she became the offense. She put on an absolute masterclass in efficiency, attacking the paint with zero fear of Indiana's interior size. Chen went a perfect 5-4-5 from the field in the second half, adding 4 of 5 from the charity stripe to finish with 14 massive points in just 10 minutes of action. Her sudden burst of scoring completely fractured Indiana's defensive game plan. The Fever were forced to help off the perimeter to contain Chen's penetration, which opened the floodgates for the rest of the Valkyries roster. Janelle Salon stepped up into those spaces, knocking down 2 critical three-pointers on her way to a 12-point performance. Never underestimate the heart of a team playing in front of their home crowd with their backs against the wall. Just when it looked like Golden State was going to run away with it, Indiana mounted a furious, desperate comeback. Trailing midway through the third quarter, the Fever tapped into the explosive offense that makes them so dangerous. Caitlin Clark, despite being hounded all night by Gabby Williams, started orchestrating the floor. Aaliyah Boston hit back-to-back buckets, and the Fever erupted for a stunning 17-4 scoring run over a 6-minute stretch. For the first time since the opening minute of the first quarter, the Indiana Fever had the lead at 47-48. The Gainbridge Fieldhouse crowd was on its feet, creating a wall of sound that would have broken a lesser team. The momentum had completely shifted. Golden State was on the ropes, facing a hostile environment and a team that suddenly couldn't miss. It was the ultimate test of their championship caliber culture. Championship teams don't panic when the crowd gets loud. They turn up the defensive pressure until the arena goes completely silent. Golden State responded to Indiana's run with an execution that can only be described as surgical. To start the fourth quarter, the Valkyries flipped the script entirely, launching their own devastating 11-5 run. Kayla Thornton became an absolute rock on both ends of the floor, grabbing 8 rebounds, hitting 2 huge shots from beyond the arc, and anchoring a defense that refused to give up another clean look. Thornton finished with 11 points and a staggering team-high plus-minus of +21. Now, I want to hear from the real basketball minds out there. Was this game proof that the Golden State Valkyries are the definitive favorites to win it all this year, or did Indiana simply have an off shooting night that they'll easily fix before the playoffs? How do you stop a team that gets 14 points off the bench from a rookie in just 10 minutes? Drop your deep analysis and hot takes in the comments section below. I read and reply to them all. If you loved this deep tactical breakdown and narrative deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and smash subscribe to join the community here at US Highlight Junction 128. We bring you the most detailed analysis, high-energy commentary, and epic stories from across the landscape of American sports. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next breakdown.